Snap going to Milroe. Looking deep downfield, looking for Williams. Comes back, makes the catch, trying to split defenders. Makes them bang into each other. Stays on his feet, breaks a tackle, scores, scores, scores.
I remember we busted the play. We did something that we weren't supposed to. But like coaches always say, yo, both of y'all wrong, y'all right. And I just remember lining up, and I was like, if you gonna make a play, you better make it now. Once I made the catch, I was like, I'm not getting tackled right here. Like, there's no way I get tackled right here.
You know, when the ball's in the air, you know, I have no doubt that he's gonna make the play, and, you know, that's what he did, and he just let his God-gifted abilities take over after that.
I blinked, and somehow I was in the end zone, and then I was just dancing. Yeah, it was just a surreal moment, and just looking around and seeing the crowd. I wish I would have kept the football, but, you know, it is what it is.
Hey, what we saying? Pressure make diamonds, baby.
You better hit somebody in their mouth. Set the tone. You want to see them get up on their feet? It's this group, because we takers.
Bernard, catch made. Touchdown, Alabama. Firing deep. He's got a man. Touchdown, Alabama. The deuce got loose.
Takers. Coach Shep, he likes to call us takers, man, because, I mean, that's what we do when the ball's in the air. It's ours.
We go take it. It could be in blocking too, taking on that block for your guy just because, you know, you want your guy to have the best opportunity and you got to take on your responsibility.
You know, if you have explosive plays, it's going to help you during the game.
Today you must give. Give everything that you have for the Alabama football family, period.
Playing for Coach Shep is super authentic, knowing that I'm playing for a guy that wakes up and doesn't need coffee and has the juice that he has every single day, day in and day out. It's contagious.
Coach Shep, he just brings great energy every day. He coaches you to the highest level. He's going to get everything out of you.
We rep the takers, takers, takers. We rep the ooh. Boom! Now let's go.
Explosive. I think that's a great word to describe our guys. Any of them with the ball in their hand can go score.
Taking a shot to the end zone. It's caught. Rico Scott.
We have a lot of secret gems. Some guys on offense like a Jalen Hill.
During the spring, the freshmen really showed that they can come in and they can have an impact. So we just got to keep being there for those guys and coaching them up to make sure that they're ready when time comes.
I think Germ, he's just a overall technician, right? He's going to come in and out in breaks and make a great catch on the ball. Ryan's fast. He's going to push it down the field with him. Just like our whole receiving corps is pretty much dominant.
A lot of the wide receivers I sit next to, Ryan's to my left and Germ's to my right. So we always talk football and things that they do to get open. We just share all the information we take from their coaches, my coaches, so we all use it together and get better.
With the offense that we have and the players that we have, man, it's going to be really explosive.
The Bama standard, for me, winning. I mean, any means necessary, you have to win.
Pride, discipline, you know, commitment, toughness. I was able to come here and wear the script A, and that really means something across the nation. And, you know, I just want to be able to withhold that standard.
I would definitely say our goal for this season is winning a national championship. Nothing shy. I feel like everybody's bought into that.
Most importantly, just take one game at a time, prepare how you're supposed to, never take any opponent lightly, and just not take the game for granted.